So you're trying to be financially responsible by building an emergency fund, which is great. But what if I told you that where you keep your emergency fund can be just as important as having one in the first place? Today, I'm going to be sharing one of the best beginner-friendly places to keep your emergency fund so that your money stays safe, accessible, and makes you money just by keeping your money in this type of account. And make sure to stick around for the entire video because I'm going to be touching on some mistakes that people make with their emergency funds that can cost them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars over time. So one of the best places to keep your emergency fund is in a high yield savings account, which is also sometimes referred to as a HYSA. A high yield savings account works very similar to a traditional savings account, but a big difference is that it pays you much more by keeping your money there. For example, according to Bankrate, the average for a traditional savings account pays about 0.59% in 2025, whereas a high-yield savings account can pay you sometimes 4% or more. That difference might not seem like much at first, but when you add up how much interest you miss out on over months and years by keeping your money in a traditional savings account, that amount adds up pretty quickly. And as an added benefit, most high-yield savings accounts are FDIC insured, which is very important. They're often free to open with low or no minimum deposits, and they're often offered by trustworthy financial institutions like Ally or Capital One. Regardless of which high-yield savings account you choose, just make sure you're looking out for things like FDIC insurance, looking into the reputation of the bank, and looking into how easily you can get your money out if you need to. Because while a goal is to have your money working for you while it's sitting there, you also want to make sure that you have easy access in the case of an emergency. So now let's talk through a few mistakes that you'll want to avoid. The first being keeping your entire emergency fund in cash at home. A common belief in the past was that keeping your money in a safe or under the mattress at home was one of the best options for your savings. But while cash might seem secure because you can physically touch it, it can actually be one of the most risky places to keep your money. If there's something like a fire, a flood, or just simply misplacing it, you could lose your entire emergency fund in the blink of an eye. Plus, cash just sitting at home isn't earning any money and interest. So if you're not earning money and interest, you're actually losing value to inflation. A high-yield savings account not only protects your money, but it also allows it to grow and work for you while it's just sitting there. Mistake number 2 is mixing your emergency fund with your everyday spending. This can be a pretty common one, and what it looks like is lumping your emergency fund in the same account that you utilize for all of your other daily expenses. When your emergency fund sits next to money that's there for your rent, money for groceries, money for just having fun, it can be very, very easy to see your emergency fund as something that's there for your everyday disposal. Keeping your emergency fund in a separate account really helps you to delineate between what is everyday spending money and what's money that's reserved only for those emergency situations. Mistake number 3 is investing your emergency fund. Now, you might be tempted to invest your emergency fund because you believe that you can get a higher return by investing it rather than keeping it in something like a high yield savings account. But a big problem with that is that the stock market is very unpredictable, and so are emergencies. If an emergency hits right when the market is down, you might have to take out money at a time when there's much less available. Also, you might be forced to take a loss on an investment that you otherwise would have kept in the market. Your emergency fund isn't supposed to be an investment. It's supposed to be your financial safety net. And in a real emergency, having stability and quick access to your money is much more important than the higher returns that you might have got if you risked it inside of the market. See, getting your emergency fund set up in the right place is extremely important. But what if I also told you that there's a way to fund and build your emergency fund faster than maybe you're doing right now? If you're interested, make sure to check out my next video where I'll be covering this exact topic. If you got any value out of this video, please hit that like button as it does support the channel. Subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll see you in the next one.